Yes, welcome back to another Flutter tutorial. Yeah, so in this tutorial actually we are actually going to handle alignment of content all for widgets within a column and a row. Yeah, previously we looked at padding, we looked at how to write widgets, how to create widgets for a column, for a container child, for a row, with their respective children, in case if they're in a row or if they're in a column as well. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually remove this content entirely. So I want to have a plain oops, I'm messing up. So in body, I'm going to delete all these widgets. Maybe unlike for welcome to our app. So I delete them, then I save. And you could be wondering how my changes are taking effect so quickly, because I'm using a hot reload. With Flutter, we use a hot reload. Yeah. And if you're using hot reload, it only actually accepts the previous changes you saved. To get to know whether you've saved your added code yet or not, in case maybe I just press and I just hit enter, you see that I'm having a white spot there, a white dot. I don't know what to call it. Yeah, because it indicates that I've not changed. Sorry, I've not saved the changes within this file, the main.dat file, which is under the lib folder, right? But once I save, once I press Ctrl S and save, it has to actually go. Yeah, why is my terminal freezing? Okay. Once I'm performing a hot reload, it has to save, then you'll be displayed that a closing button. Yeah, so it will go. Or otherwise, you can be saving, then coming back here and you run a hot reload. So this is responsible for a hot reload, then this is responsible for a hot restart of the entire application. This is responsible to, the last one is Shift F5 to stop the application. Yeah. But for hot reload, you only need to save your code or your content, save and hot reload. Yeah. For a restart, Shift Control F5 for Windows. Then for us on Mac, we press Shift Command F5. Yeah. Okay. So in this tutorial, we want to look at alignment of content or widgets within our application. So in my column, as for a body, I'm going to create a widget for our container. Let me first erase these. Okay, so close that, then I create a container. I give it a color. Okay, colors maybe orange. I'm gonna give it a height. Of 100. So I'll specify width of 200. Maybe only that. Okay. So that's my first container. I'll need another one below this. So this is a second container. So first container. Control C, then I'll put it down here. And I think I would change the color of this one. Let me make it black. Okay, so I'll make it black just like that. Then, oops. Okay. Then what I need to do, I need to give them a spacing, right? We talked about how to space them, so I'll go after creating this second container, I'll create a sized box. I'll give it a small height because I'm dealing with column. I'll give it 10. Ctrl S, so I have some little height. But before even giving it height, I want to see how I should actually align these containers. Yeah, let me first remove this sized box. Let me first comment it down, place it back. Oops, it's taking long to reload. Yeah, PC was taking long to reload, but let's continue from there. I take it back, so I want to align these containers according to my preference. So when you go to a column, we see we can align content using main axis alignment, and can actually give it even a main axis size. Okay, and we can actually use also a cross axis alignment. Yeah. So if I try to use maybe let's say cross axis alignment, dot let's say if we start, if we say start, if we say let's say end, that is for cross. I think we shall first handle with a main axis alignment to elaborate this more like so clearly. So I'll use main axis alignment, and I'll say main axis alignment dot center. Yeah. So with main axis alignment, I'm actually aligning according to the main axis. So remember, for a column, this is the entire body of the scaffold is a column, right? So if I say center, so I'm keeping respect to the alignment within the center, right? So that means whatever I'm going to put within this column is going to be aligned in the center here. But once I try to use a main axis alignment dot maybe end, that all my widgets shall start from the end, from the end or from the bottom actually of my screen, right? So that is with the end. Then if I use let's say we have seen center, we have seen end, space around. So space around, this indicates that the spacing outside these widgets have to be the same, have to equate. I think to see that is that the spacing in between the bottom to the black container should be the same between the top from the up bar to the orange container. So this spacing is the same. This spacing is the same as this. Okay, but this one ain't the same as this. Maybe to illustrate more, I'll have to maybe add another container within here. So I'll copy up this, Ctrl C, then this is a third container, just to comment down. Then I put it right there, then I change the color to purple. Okay, just like that. So if we are using space around, we are seeing that the space around these widgets should be the same. We're not keeping respect of what is the space in between them, right? But you will see that this spacing in between them will be the same. Yeah, but we actually restricting the space around. So the space around from the bottom to that last widget within the column should be the same as that from the top of the up bar, or from the top of the body of the column to the very first widget, which is a container for orange, the orange container. Yeah, so that is the space around. But if we use another spacing of oh, sorry about that. Yeah, let me first remove that sound from my phone. If we try to use space between, then that means we shall keep respect of the spacing in between them, but we are not keeping the spacing around, because with the spacing around, it is actually going to help us say align the widgets with respect to their spacing around. You understand? And we can restrict that spacing using main axis size, yeah, accordingly. But if we try to see another one, I said for space around, sorry, for space in between, we are keeping the in between spacing the same. So if you have multiple widgets, let's say 4 or more widgets, it's actually going to start from the bottom and from the top, still just like that. There is no padding, but in between the spacings shall be the same. Okay, then to see another example, space evenly. space evenly. Now, space evenly combines what we call space around and space in between. Space evenly is responsible for keeping a correct or a uniform spacing or amount of space in between and around all the widgets within the column. So you might find here this space should be the same as this, and this space should be the same as this, and likewise this space is the same. So that is space evenly. You're spacing them accordingly and with a uniform spacing. So usually, instead of using a sized box within a column, you can actually align content using this. Okay. Then if I'm to go to and the other thing, we talked about padding last time, because I need a padding so that this doesn't start from the margin, isn't it? So how do I deal with that? I can add a padding to my column, right? I can add a padding to my column so that we have spacing accordingly. So if I add padding, you see that I have padding, because a column becomes now the child of the padding. So padding is the main parent widget within the body, right? So if I add padding to the column, it will have a spacing from the margins. And remember, I am giving it edge insets from .all, so it's having from all sides. I'm having 8 pixels, right? From the top, from the left, from the bottom, from the right, and just like that. Yeah, so I'll return it back because I want to illustrate about the rows. So let's say we are dealing with a row now, right? So within this, I think I will remove that, and within the children, I'll make this a row, because a row doesn't differ much from a column, just that their alignment differs. And I want to make these, I'll give it a height, maybe say 50, and I give it a width 100. Likewise this, so I'll make same height and width, same height and width. Okay. So this is my row. Okay, yeah, so if we are dealing with the row, we looked at how to give spacing in between, and in case I need to give a spacing just in between my container, which is an orange and black, I'll give a size box. So I'll uncomment this size box. Instead of giving it height, I'll give it a width. So instead of giving it height, I'll give it a width. So when I give it a width, I'm having that spacing in between. Likewise here, in case I need a sized box, I'll give it a width, and I'll give it maybe 10 as well. Then you're saying, please close this line. Okay, just like that. So we can actually assign specific spacing in case we need. I can even increase this to 50. No, 50, just like that. But in case I need a uniform spacing within the column, right? And I don't need to be using sized boxes all the time, let's say, right? So I remove the sized box. I remove also the sized box here. I'll still comment it. When I save, they're back in touch. Then if I'm to use the spacing or the alignment between them, I'll come within my row, main axis alignment, main axis alignment dot center. I center them to the apparent accordingly. That is center. If I say dot start, that means they will start from the margin, and initially or by default they start from the margin, just like how we saw in a column. Initially they start at the top left margin. Then if I need dot space around, I said space around gives a uniform space around the whole widget. So this space should be the same as this space. I'm not keeping respect of what is the space in between, but it's like I'm giving a padding in in other words, but this padding is actually giving for only the left and the right. I'm not keeping the top, I'm not keeping the bottom, you understand? So the space around in a row is the left and the right should be the same, right? So with space in between, spaces in between is the opposite of space around. So space in between is not keeping respect of the other round space, but then it keeps a uniform space or a uniform alignment within the middle of the widgets, just like that. Okay, so in case I'm to see also this one, dot space evenly, this is now combining the space around and this space in between. It gives a uniformity for this space, should be the same as this, should be the same as this, should be the same as this. Okay, just like that. Yep. Okay, so something else I wanted to maybe close is about the cross-axis alignment. So with cross-axis alignment, I guess let me first remove this. Let me first comment down that, and I use the cross-axis alignment. So when I use cross-axis alignment, then maybe dot saying that dot straight. I think this is kind of that one that actually changes a lot. So when I say dot stretch in a row, I'll have that it fills up the maximum height. In a row, for a cross-axis alignment, because I'm dealing in a row, so it will fill up the maximum left height, right, in a row. But it's the opposite in a column. Yeah, and we're actually going to see that. So once I give it maybe cross-axis alignment and I give it a space evenly, remember, space evenly has to give them an even space between. So when I give them just like that, we shall see that we're having a spacing which is equivalent in between them, but then I'm taking the maximum height, right, to stretch and fill up the rest of the maximum height that is having for the screen. Then if I change this to a column, and put them back, then I change this to a column. Remember, a column just like that. So let's say for a column, I have those three there, and I give them maybe a cross-axis alignment dot stretch. We are going to see that they are taking in the maximum width. So in a column, if you use cross-axis alignment dot stretch, we're having a maximum width, just like that. So if I give them the evenly, they'll be like that. Yeah, because evenly is taking in a uniform spacing between and around, and maybe dot the space between, so I'm keeping respect of the in-between space of these widgets in a column. So it doesn't depend whether I'm increasing the height of this. Let's say the black one, I'm giving it a height 100. However much I'm giving 100, it should have actually correct, or even, sorry, uh, same spacing in between all of them. Yeah, so give it a height maybe 200. Still, I'm having correct spacing between here and there. Okay, so that's it. Or maybe I increase these to also 100. I'm seeing this space is the same as this. You understand? So dot start, they'll be like that. Dot start, because I'm putting them to the top. I'm dealing with the column, so they'll be at the top. Dot start. Dot end, we have seen dot end pushes them down to the bottom. So that's how we can deal with alignment for columns and rows and maybe spacing. So we dealt with padding, and maybe I'll end with highlighting more about padding. So let me put this to the start. In case we need a padding for maybe for the black container, I'll come here and I give it a padding. If I give it a padding on all sides, we shall see that it's the only one that's having a padding. The rest are not having a padding. Yeah, I don't need to put a side box here. I don't need to put a side box up there, or this side to put a side box in case. No, because if I put a side box this side, then that means for this black container, I'll have to put a row in between here. You understand? So in case I need to increase my padding, in case I need to 20, just like that. So that's how we deal with padding and maybe alignment for rows and columns. Yeah. So thanks for watching, and wait for another video.